2001 Chevy Monte Carlo, no keys. This is going to be kind of different from the rest. The ignition is dash mounted and it's going to be a bear. Now it doesn't use a transponder, but it does have the vehicle theft deterrent system. Hopefully we don't have to try to reset the VTD. We can just make the key for the car. This is what we're going to be dealing with. It's everything that it looks like and then some. We're going to use some tools to pull this ignition out of here. On this ignition should be a key code that we can use to cut the key for this car. This is not a cakewalk, but maybe we can walk you through it like it is. To work at it from this angle, maybe I can give you the best view possible so you see what we're doing. If not, hey, we'll change angles. We're going to use some of the tools here. That's, of course, you see the DeWalt, and the equipment we're going to use to pick the ignition over. We're going to be using a GM 10-cut in-dash, the PS3 pick set, to remove this ignition. And here we go. First thing we'll do is remove this cover right here. Actually, we're going to remove that bezel there. Comes off, looks like that, and you just reuse it. Then, so that we got room to work, we're going to remove this piece also. After that, we're going to remove this cover, and then we'll use a drill to drill at a certain point to give us access to the sidebar. That will pick down so we can rotate the ignition. This is a tool that we're going to use to remove this cap. Real simple. Hooks in there like that, behind it, and you just pry out and it removes it, no problem. That's all. Once you get it pried far enough, you can take your finger and take it back off. Now remember, this cap here is going to be reused. We're just going to crimp the edges back on like it was, and it'll be reused. We'll be using a different part of our PS3 in-dash ignition removal system here. This is going to be our drill guide. If you notice, it has a little hole here. We're going to use a 3/32 inch drill, and this pin here will align with the little indentation on the ignition lock cylinder itself, so that when we drill through here, we'll have direct access to be able to depress the sidebar and pick the tumblers down, or pick the tumblers so the sidebar will be able to be moved down and the lock cylinder turned. Now, it's going to line up right over here in this cutout here, and somewhere in here is where we'll probably be drilling at. Let's see here, just to give you an example. This is where we're actually going to drill with this unit in place to access the sidebar. Stand by. We've got our little hole there now where we can access the sidebar, and we're going to use a depression tool, and you can see the sidebar right there. We're going to depress that while picking the lock, and we'll be able to turn it. Maybe I can show you what we're doing. This tool is used to assist in picking the lock cylinder. This is what we're going to use in that little hole, and we're going to rotate it over so we can depress the sidebar as we're raking the lock. Here we go. We're going to use a regular rake here, and as you can see, we're going to put a little tension on the sidebar. Tumblers are on the bottom of the lock, and we're going to pick this sidebar down. Nice and easy. You just rake them down, because we don't know what the cuts are, you know. But booyah, there we go. We got her down. We're going to turn it and remove it. Now when you're turning this lock, when you're turning it, you're going to have to pull this tool out. So really, you can take a screwdriver or anything, and you know, you can keep your turn on, but you got to remove this little device here that you use to help you pick the lock. So you just be careful, you know, and just kind of work it out a little bit, and you go ahead and you turn your lock. Now if I wanted to start this car, I could start it. Did you see me turn it there? I'm not going to turn it off. I'm just showing you that I turned it. Okay? Boom. There we go. Right there. So now, we're going to use a different tool so we can get to the retainer that holds this lock in. And I'll show you that. What holds this lock cylinder in place is a retainer, and I'll show it to you once I pull this ignition out. But you access it right through this little port right here. Now other people may say, oh, take the radio out, take the whole dash out and all that kind of stuff, but the best way to get to this port is right through here. If I was unable to get to it, since I know where it is, you got all of this access right here, about between here and where that retainer is, I'd say is about an inch. So you just go up there, boom, depress it, and out will slide this retainer. You can go at this one two ways. One, you can use this tool here, which will give you access right through here if you got the room. If you don't have the room, then you just make yourself a little hook on a screwdriver where you can go back there and depress that retainer. I'll show you how that's done. Now you're looking at the ignition out. I want to show you, this would be the 6 o'clock position. This ignition sets in there like that to the side. So if you can see this bottom part here, then know that about 1.5 inches from the face of this lock is the retainer. Okay, and okay, so retainer 1.5 inches down. All you got to do is have this in the on position. The key code you're looking for is right there. See that? That would be Sierra 210 Alpha. That's the key code. Now we're going to cut that, try it in the lock, put it back in the car, close it up. So we got our key here. Now we're going to try it in the ignition. Ignition key. Here we go. Did the code work? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So, while we got this thing out here, you may as well know that this is a part of the theft deterrent system here. Okay? If you decide to force this cylinder over, if someone was trying to take the car or steal the car, this has a little tit that sticks down and goes into a little area here on the plug, and when that tit is broken, guess what? It will immobilize, or it sends a signal to immobilize the car. So the car won't start. DEF system is activated. So there you go. That's it right there.